But
sure.
how much can you earn being in corporate as you were before compared to what you're making now?
When I left WWE, quite high, you'd be surprised, close to $1 million a year.
Muy buena gente, soy Daniel Xu y hoy he salido a la calle para preguntarle a gente extranjera viviendo en China cómo es su vida laboral aquí. Vamos a hacerles unas preguntas rápidas a ver qué nos cuentan, quizás aprendamos algo. Let's go. All right, so where are you from?
From Belarus.
I am from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said you were from India, right?
I'm from India.
I was born and raised in Shanghai, but I split my time between Boston and Shanghai right now.
How long have you been in China?
Been here in China for 6 years, going to 7 now.
5 years.
I've actually been here for, since 2000, so
Right.
been on and off working here for 20 years.
I was in China 2 months ago, and 2 days ago I'm back in China.
Oh, so what's your job? What do you do for a living?
I'm a hustler.
You're a hustler.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they call it. That's what the young people call it. But basically, I just do a lot of expert trading. That's my hustle.
I teach yoga.
Teach
I'm a yoga
yoga?
teacher.
Oh,
yes.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was a management consultant. Now I'm an independent consultant and entrepreneur. But my last job is I ran WWE Asia for about 6.5 years.
Working experience in modeling, only 1 year. It's my second contract.
What do you think China has different? What does it offer that is different from other countries?
First of all, it's quite different right now, right? Post-COVID. Before COVID and in the past 30 years or so, I spent about half of my career working here in China. I think what's most exciting about the Chinese business environment is China. Here, everybody has a positive attitude with regard to what can be done.
Yeah.
And nobody questions, that this can be done. They always feel that, with the right effort, with the right resources, you can get anything done. The flip side of that, the Chinese work environment is a bit more like the Wild Wild West. So, they don't always play by the rules. They don't always, obey the law, but they get it done, right? So if you want to get done, I don't know if I can say that word. If you want to get stuff done here in China, China is actually a good place to get stuff done. To innovate and to try something different. And basically anything goes in a city like Shanghai. Yeah.
Is this something that you plan to do before coming to China?
Just like most of the friends, they're working abroad. It's like in Singapore, Hong Kong, China. So they asked me, would you like to come and work here? It's a really big opportunity. I said, okay, let's have an experience abroad. Then I just, 2011, I left. Yeah, it's been pretty wild. I was in Dalian, been to Beijing, Malaysia 5 years. Then I work in China, many different cities, and now I'm finally in Shanghai.
So I can see you're loving it here because you've been here for a long time.
Definitely. Shanghai is one of the best, like a place where you can really have a lot of opportunities, and also you can upgrade yourself. And definitely, it's a very wise place. Yeah, exactly.
With the years of experience that you have in China, what's the biggest difference you feel working here and maybe back home?
The biggest difference is always the cultural difference. And we all know that we went through the great pandemic. So that kind of like slowed everything down. And one thing you need to understand with the Chinese market is that you need to understand the culture because it's different. Because when you're back home, they don't do like online marketing or, buying things online. They don't trust that. Like, no, I'd rather come to you because I know where you live, so I'll buy from you. But here it's different because if you look at it, you got your Taobao, you got your online trading, online everything. It's much easier. You can even order food. You don't have to be there. It gets delivered. Now back home, no one will do that. They think someone's going to steal my stuff and snatch it.
Scammers and stuff.
There's a lot of security here. So that's what makes it possible. That's what makes it really, really great and fun. Yeah.
What do you think about the industry in China compared to maybe Belarus or other places where you have worked in?
I think that in China better than Belarus because in China I can do a lot of things like modeling and another work. But in Belarus I have work but not so interesting and I don't like it.
Okay. In the style of working, what is different from China and their own countries?
Well, Chinese workers don't mind pulling long hours, etc., but they're not quite as effective or efficient, right? They always try to do everything right, but they're not always trying to do the right thing. That's if I direct my team to do stuff, they don't hesitate to work hard and long hours for it.
Right.
But are they doing the right thing? They tend not to stop and ask the question, am I focusing on the right thing? Am I really solving the problem, or am I just keeping busy? They tend to keep busy. I think it's much more of a culture thing. I've worked in Japan a little bit as well. I think the Japanese are the same way. They tend to respect authority and chugging along, without stopping to question, whether or not it's the right thing to do.
Do you think you have the same opportunities as local Chinese?
I would think the Chinese are more at an advantage than me, because one, they can speak the language, and there's always an easier way of getting things done for them. Because for instance, if I'm to send like let's say a package from here to Guangzhou, maybe I'll pay 25 RMB. But for the local Chinese guy, he can pay maybe anything from 5 to 10, at times not even pay for it, because there's that connection,
Yeah.
They understand each other. So I think there are more advantages for the Chinese, and also where it becomes more advantageous for the foreigners is that we get to speak to the foreigners who are outside the country, but they may not have this opportunity. That's the only difference. But locally, to do the business, the Chinese are still at a better advantage.
Okay, so you think the stigma of Chinese being less critical thinkers, I would say, is that true?
I think that is true.
That is true.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with education. A lot of the education here, because I went to high school in China and I went to college in the U.S. The Chinese education is very much about knowledge retention. You're not really challenged as an independent thinker.
Right.
So people don't really question.
Right.
So that really gets into their work habit as well once they get into the workforce.
When weekend comes, you close shops and everything, but here they're constantly working. So it's like a 24-hour industry working, whether it's in food, whether it's in goods, whether it's production, it's working all the time. And in our home countries, we want to work Monday to Friday, let's say 8 to 5, that's it. When 5 o'clock, I'm knocking, bye. You can't call me, we can't discuss anything, phone is off, that's it. But here they have a different system, they have a different culture. I actually like this kind of system because I like to work as well, all the time.
As a good hustler.
Yeah,
My
as I
man.
said.
So, yeah.
Do you think China has an inviting working culture for foreigners? Would you
I think so,
recommend
yeah.
it? Would you recommend other models
Yeah,
to
sure,
come to
sure,
China?
sure.
Yes? Okay. All right.
I think
To come here.
I always recommend them to come to China, because I feel like China is a big market, and everyone doing great. So I feel like this is the best place to you can grow, you can have a big growth for your life. Yeah.
Even after the pandemic, I would say even more now,
You
right?
see, people become more stronger, I guess.
Yeah.
After pandemic, people became very self-dependent. They think you can fight with any situation. So, and the trouble can be anywhere. It's not like any specific place like China or Singapore or anywhere.
Exactly.
So you just have an open, broad mind to enjoy your life and take all the challenges, bravely, and face it. It's okay. Nothing
Sure.
is different.
Sure.
Yeah, I highly recommend it, especially if you want to operate in a field like innovation, technology, sports and entertainment. There's a lot of good opportunities here because of the COVID lockdown and the past 3 years. A lot of the stringent COVID measures. A lot of the foreign workers have left China, but I think there's still a need for talent,
Right.
For people with a world view. So I think a lot of people are still coming back in here.
Okay.
I think there will be a need for people to come back in.
I can see you enjoy working in China, but does it help you achieve your long-term goals or any goals?
Whenever you start, you always need to have a plan. So you must have the beginning and the end. Like, okay, now I'm towards the end of this project, I need to go on to the next project. But if you just come and you're like, flowing this way, you're like a flower, then you are going to get lost, because there's so much that China offers, believe you me. It's easy to be captured here. Easy, trust me.
So if you have a clear objective, it will help you.
Yeah,
If
it
you
will
don't
help
have
you.
it, you might get lost in the process.
Sure. I'll give you an instance where we've seen people who have come and made like maybe, let's say 300k RMB, and they've all lost it in a month. And the other people who come and they make 20k RMB in a month, but they gradually build up the relationships. And there are those who just come across money and like, wow, what to do? They're doing silly things.
Yeah.
I just like to keep it simple.
Does China offer you what you're looking for long term?
Yeah, at this moment,
Your
I'm
career?
not looking for to going anywhere because I'm quite enjoying my lifestyle here, working with my company. Definitely, I probably I'm thinking to work here for pretty longer, like about maybe 5 more years. Let's
5
see.
more
Yeah.
years.
So and we have also branch in other countries like Hong Kong, Singapore, the same branch.
Uh-huh.
So if I want to change the country, probably I will change the country, but not the company.
I see, I see. And my last question is a little bit sensitive. You can choose to maybe give a vague answer or like a specific answer if whatever you feel like.
Okay.
How much can you
Bye-bye.
make?
I'm like joking.
How
Yeah.
much can you make a month?
It depends. You can make anything from as little as 25K going upwards. It just depends on what you're doing at that particular time. I remember one time I made about 60 grand. That was like in a week. So a month was
In
like
a week?
two-
But how much can you earn, for example, being in corporate as
Yeah.
you were before compared to what you're making now?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur, so I make nothing now. No, when I left WWE, quite high. You'd be surprised. Close to $1 million a year of potential
$1 million
income.
a year?
Yeah. And
With
we
your
give that
experience
up.
or so?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been lucky. So
And you gave that up
I gave that up.
to chase your dreams.
Exactly.
My man.
Yeah.
All right.
At times you make 0 in a month. So
Oh, wow.
that's the trade, yeah.
Depends on our class basis, like how many classes do we teach? 25 to 30.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can earn a lot of money, but sometimes I can earn 0.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's everything. It's been a pleasure. Andrew, you're a G, man. Thank you for your
Thank you.
for your answers.
Thank
Sorry, anything else you want to say?
Adios.
Hey, let's go! Hey.
All right, man. I'll see
Thank you so much. All right, man. I mean, that's everything. Thank
Yeah,
you so
thanks,
much.
man. I
I
appreciate you,
appreciate it.
brother.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no
you've been so nice to talk with.
No problem.